This is the main graphical user interface for the versatile sensor network system. And today I'm going to show you how to use this system to collect data, transient data for a gunshot type scenario, as well as collect streaming data for a UAV tracking type scenario. The easiest way to set the system up is to first take your sensor nodes, which are the green boxes, and deploy them in the field in the configuration you want to collect data in. Here's an example configuration from the overhead view here. And then once they're physically deployed, start up your laptop out in the field and go up here to the File menu and click Startup Wizard. And the Startup Wizard will walk you through how to set up the software side and get the nodes running and ready to collect data. So we'll launch the Startup Wizard here. This is the first screen where you can choose which application you want to run. We're just going to cover the sniper, and so we're going to go ahead and click sniper here. We're going to go through the wizard to set up the array for collecting transient data. In addition, if you don't want to create a new setup, you could also load previous setups that you've saved from going through this wizard previously. So once you do this once for a given setup, you don't have to do it again. So go ahead and click Sniper here and then click Next. So on the second page of the Sniper wizard, we have the ability to change parameters of how the system's going to operate. The system always downloads time of arrivals and features for every detected transient. You also have the option of, in addition to those, downloading the raw time series of the transient event itself, and here we can select whether we want to download that or not. In addition, we have the ability to adjust the threshold, detection threshold of the HMM detector, and if you're getting a lot of false alarms, you can try raising this detection threshold to cut that back, but here we're just going to use the default values for now and not download time series. Click Next here. Okay, on this page of the wizard, we have the map loader. We have the option of either using a previously downloaded map that we have saved on the computer, or we have the ability to enter the latitude and longitude in decimal format for the area we want to download the satellite view for. We're just going to use a previously loaded map for this tutorial. Click Next here. Okay, on this page of the wizard, this is where we enter the node locations, which correspond to how we deployed the nodes in the field. We have pick a starting set of node locations here and then click Load. Here we have the node IDs, and all the green boxes are labeled with different node IDs, so you know which location corresponds to which physical node in the field. Then we have the X, Y, and Z coordinates in meters, Z being the elevation. And these are all relative to the origin, so you select one node and enter that node being 0, 0, 0, and then all the other locations are relative to that node. If you didn't deploy all the nodes in the field, then you can unselect them here so the system knows not to look for them. Makes things a little faster in the discovery phase. We can also add additional node IDs here if you have a node that's not listed in this table with its location, and click Add Node here and it will enter. And you could also change the locations of the nodes in the table here just by double clicking. Once you have this corresponding to what's in the field, you can click Save New Node Location File here, and we'll save it to a new file for you so you don't have to edit it next time. You can just load it straight away. To get these coordinates for the nodes, you can either use GPS, or we've used tape measures in the past to do a little surveying to get relatively accurate locations. Click Next here. This is the base station configuration page. It's pretty automated. Tells you how many base stations you need to plug into the console computer. They plug in via USB So you might need a USB hub or two depending on how many base stations you need, and just plug them in. It'll automatically detect them and configure them for the application and setup you have. And once it says finish programming here, then you're done. That step's easy. Click next. This is the final wizard page. Here we can enter a name for this configuration and save the settings. So all the settings that we've selected throughout the whole wizard, you can save those to a configuration file, and then back on the first wizard page, the next time you go out to the field, you can just load that file and not have to go through the whole wizard again. So that's a good time saver. So the system's completely set up now. You can click finish if you want and then move on to collecting data. Or if you wait here a little bit longer, it will discover the nodes in the field and collect some data about the link qualities in the network, so the communication link strengths, and other state of the nodes. So if we that process is finished when these two buttons become enabled. So let's take a look at the first one. Here we have a number of different columns. At this point, it's collected the RSSI, LQI, and packet loss values for each node. And this gives you the quality or the link strength between the base station at the console that's connected to the computer to the nodes in the field. Green's good, yellow's not so good, and red's really bad. So if you see some red links, you might want to reposition the console or base station or move field nodes around in the field. If we click here, we get the full link matrix. So these are the connections from each node in the field to all the other nodes in the field. So here we have a single hop network where all the nodes can communicate to each other. This is the packet receive percentage, so we haven't lost any packets yet here. We also have the RSSI, which is a received signal strength indicator, and the link quality indicator, LQI values for, again, each link in the network. Okay, so we've gone through the startup wizard for the sniper in detail. The UAV wizard uses a lot of the same pages, so I'm going to kind of gloss over those. But let's say we've deployed the network and we're out in the field and we want to set everything up, the software side of things, to collect collect streaming data for UAV tracking. So we start here by selecting the UAV application and clicking next. Here we have options that are specific to collecting streaming data. Currently we only have the ability to do online streaming, but we also have the option later to be able to collect data and not stream it over the radio, but to collect it on the nodes and then download it later at another time. We have a couple options of changing the beacon rate, sampling rate, and adjust the samples per window. I'll probably send a document with more details on those, but suffice to know that you can change those values here. The defaults, however, work great, so unless you're doing something special, you probably don't need to change those. Click next. Here's the same map loader that we saw before, so I'm going to go through here and select a map that we already had downloaded. And click next. Here again we have the node sensor locations editor. I'm going to select a different one this time and then hit next. Here we have the base station page again. For streaming and the UAV application, you generally need more base stations. You need one base station per 2 nodes that are collecting data, plus a command base station and a timesync node. So the more nodes you have in the field, the more base stations you need. But again, just plug them in here using USB hubs, and this page will recognize they're there, program them, and tell you they're ready to go when they're done programming. Come and click next here. Again, we're at the last page, so everything's set up to go. We can just click finish here and start collecting streaming data if we want. The same process is happening. It's the UI is discovering the network and determining the quality of the links between each node and the base station and each node with every other node. So if you want to wait, when these buttons become enabled, that data is available and you can take a look at it. So we could take a look at it, and it's a similar story to what we saw before. Go ahead and click finish here.